All right, guys, welcome back on into another episode of the Bleed Blue podcast. Episode 7 coming at you. So it's been a busy week in Leafland. A lot went down. Joe Thornton broke his rib. He's going to be out for at least a month. That's tough. I really thought that top line was really starting to fire on all cylinders. I thought they were starting to roll. They were looking good. He's 41 years old, obviously, so I wouldn't say he's as durable as he once was, or, I don't think he's quite as durable as many other people on the team, to be honest. And he took that hit, a harmless looking hit, and there goes his rib, fractured rib. He's out for a month. So, the top line's been shuffled around a little bit. You saw VC up there a little bit, and then Hyman up there with the two big boys. I didn't really understand Keefe putting VC up there, with Matthews and Marner, because he was starting to buzz with Tavares and Nylander, so I thought it really messed with the mojo putting him up there. Thought that was a little unnecessary. But it looked like near the end of the Calgary game last night, or yesterday afternoon, they moved VC back down onto that Tavares and Nylander line, and then Hyman went up to the Matthews line, which I think is the right move, and I think that's what they're going to go with tomorrow. But yeah, it's really caused some shuffling. Brooks drew in. Pierre Engvall's drawn in. I think Pierre's looked good. I've been kind of hard on him because he just kind of skates around and doesn't really do much. I thought he's looked good. He's looked good defensively, right? If he can come in and provide shutdown minutes, right? Taking Hyman's spot or whatever, fourth line, Simmons bumping up or whatever. We need that third line to be able to play matchups. So the biggest thing, I guess, from last week, it was at Matthews. Matthews got hurt in the Edmonton game on Thursday? No, sorry, Friday. I don't know. Matthews didn't play on Friday. He got hurt in the Wednesday game, didn't play on Friday. It was scary. They got through the game. They won. They've got a pretty good record without Matthews in the lineup, which is good, right? I know from experience when I played, there's just something about when your best player goes out, everyone just goes, oh yeah? No one expects us to win. We're missing our best guy. We'll show them. And I think the Leafs had a little bit of that attitude. They probably knew Matthews wasn't going to be out long term. The team's not very clear to the outsiders like us, fans, how long they're going to be out sometimes. So there was some speculation on how long Matthews would be out, but he only missed the one game, thank goodness. So yeah, it's good to be back. He's got a wrist injury, they said, so hopefully it doesn't affect his shot. Maybe it has been. He hasn't really ripped any under the bar with that patented shot of his, so maybe he gets that going. Maybe if he gets that wrist injury figured out. Said he felt more than ready, so gotta assume he's at 100%, right? If you're in that lineup, you gotta assume you're 100%, and you gotta perform like you are at 100%, so that's interesting. A storyline we've been following all year, the play of Frederik Andersen. I think it's been interesting. I think he played really well in his starts against Edmonton. I thought he played well. I didn't think he hurt the team. Winnipeg, he was fantastic, stood on his head. Kept him in the game, made big saves when they needed it. And I think he's good. I think Fred, he's starting to get into that, November Freddie when he just starts getting on a roll, right? I think he's starting to find that stride, and he's been good. He's going to be good for this team. He started slow. His first couple of starts were a little rough. We all know. We saw it. Everyone started freaking out. I wasn't freaking out. Some people wanted to say there was this stupid goalie controversy and Jack Campbell's going to take the net from Frederik Andersen, and it was just such bullshit, right? We know Freddie starts slow. When he started slow and people started freaking out, it's why are you doing this? Luckily, he found his stride around game 3, and I think he's been good, right? He's probably, you'd have to assume he's going to start tomorrow against Calgary. And I'm expecting him to play well again, right? He's going up against Markstrom, and I've noticed that this team plays to their opponent, right? So if their opponent's not really playing well, they're probably going to be playing like crap, right? They don't seem to have that instinct yet this year of when a team's down to just crush them. They get up, maybe they'll get up and then they'll start pissing around a little bit, and I don't know. They need to have that instinct, right? If Freddie can stand on his head and Calgary comes out of the gate a little, lackadaisy, they need to be able to just pot 3 on Markstrom, chase him in the first, and then just show them that they mean business, right? I've been saying it. I think they're the best team in the Canadian division. I think in the end it's going to come down to Montreal and Toronto, no matter how much I hate saying that about Montreal. I think those teams are going to be 1-2. They just seem to be the deepest, right? I think Calgary's good, but like they've got a lot of question marks, and who knows? Vancouver's taking a step back. Winnipeg, who knows? That big line A trade. Now they've got Dubois, but he's probably going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And Edmonton, like who? Edmonton's just a friggin' shit show. Like they've got McDavid and Draisaitl. I don't know if they're not popping off every night, like popping off. Like each scored a goal against the Leafs. They still lost. Like they got a pop off. Tyson Barrie stinks. That guy on the Leafs stunk, and now he stinks again on Edmonton. He stinks. It's tough to watch, man. But I think the Leafs are going to finish 1-2, and I think Freddie's going to play a big part in that. I think Jack Campbell the other night in Calgary played fantastic. I think he stood on his head. The team was, I don't know, they was skating around with their fingers up their ass, and he was standing there bailing them out, making some big saves. You know, he looked like he gutted it out in the end, too. You knew he wasn't coming out of the net, like how, with that guy's personality, like he's going to tough it out. You just know. But I think he's been good. I hope he's all right. I haven't seen anything today yet, seeing he's injured or going to miss any time. But, you know, if he can keep playing well, right, like he's providing something that this team never had. He's given the team points out of a backup, which is when we had Michael Hutchinson and Garrett Sparks and all that, right? Like that was a lot to ask, was to get like a point, to get it to overtime, please. That was lucky if you could do that. They're giving up touchdowns every game. Like it was ridiculous. So I think he's proven to be important to this team for sure. But I think the team overall's played pretty well. Like they haven't been fantastic. Like this team is not firing on all cylinders by any means. And I think I've been waiting for them to do that. I was waiting for them to do it all year last year and they didn't. But I just want them to do it this year if they can find a way to just start chugging and everything. You know, the Matthews line starts clicking and they have some time together, right? And then the Tavares line starts clicking. The third line starts shutting people down. I've said this before, but it hasn't happened yet, right? And now Thornton's out. Hyman's moving up to the Matthews line, you have to assume. They're going to get like at least probably, Thornton's been hurt for 3 weeks. They're going to get a 3-week span here now where they could just, you know, like try. Like, let's see. Like, just run him out there and see if they can do it. And I think if Hyman works out on the Matthews line, I think you got to keep him there. I don't know what you do with Thornton when he comes back, but I think you got to keep Hyman on Auston and Mitch's line if they start popping off. If it's not working and you're kind of concerned, and like you might need to switch things up, maybe when Joe comes back, you pop him back on the top line, see if he can skate there, put that third line back together like Keith wants, and see if they can shut people down. But right now, I don't think that's going to be the case because I don't see anyone else other than Hyman or Vesey moving up to that Matthews line. Maybe Mikheyev, but actually, you know what? Mikheyev might move up there. That would be interesting. He's been playing well. He hasn't scored or anything, but he's been skating well. I think he's looked good. You could see him up there, but other than him, I think Vesey's got to stay in that Tavares line. I don't want to see Hyman there, so I think it's either going to be Hyman or Mikheyev. But either of those guys, right, you're taking them away from that third line that you want to be the shutdown line. So it's just not going to get a run right now because of the injury. And Nick Robinson being out doesn't help. I think the defenses look good. I think TJ Brody, you know, he had that tough night in Ottawa, obviously, but everyone has tough nights. I think he's looked good. My dad doesn't like TJ Brody. He texts me all the time during the damn game, ripping on him, and I don't get it. I think he looks good. I don't know if my dad was expecting some shutdown guru or whatever the hell, but he's not that. He's a guy who can, you get the puck to him, he gets the puck to Riley, and you're out of the zone, right? He's a breakout, move the puck up the ice, get it out of here kind of guy. He's not a lock it down and shut it down kind of guy, and this team isn't really like that, right? Like Muzzin and Hall, they can shut like top pairings down. Justin Hall's been really good this year. Talk about an improvement. That guy going from being a scratch 71 times in 1 year to being the number 4 guy on the team. People, including myself, questioning him coming into the season, and he's looked good. Like alongside Muzzin, he's looked damn good. And that pairings looked good. Like they've had their moments, obviously, but I think they've looked good, and they're going to be an important pairing for this team. I think Brody and Riley have looked good. Finally, there's a steadying force. Like this team, right? Yeah, they have their moments in their own zone, but I can see that they're improving, right? They're not chasing people around like they once were ridiculously. They get in trouble, they start collapsing in on their net, protect the house, getting pucks out, chipping it out, trying to protect the net. I think they could be a little more physical in front. They do lose some stick battles that are, costing them and going in and getting tips and whatnot, losing puck battles in front of the net. They could be a little harder, but I think, this team's defense is built around getting the puck to the forwards and moving up the ice quickly. It's not built for, dump it in, score one, and then lock it down, trap. Like, that's just not how this team's built. That's not the talent that's on this team, and that's just not how they're going to play, right? And that's not how Keefe's coaching them to play. So I think that's important. So this is a big week coming up. We've got Calgary and then a couple games against Edmonton, and then we've got a couple days off. So it'll be big. It'd be nice to get... I'd like to see them get 5 out of 6 points. I mean, Edmonton's not a great team, and if the Leafs can do their thing, right, they beat them without Matthews. Now Matthews is going to come back. The game Edmonton won last week was a shit game. Both teams played like crap. I know Tippett's like, it's a good... the coach of Edmonton, he's like, it's a good defensive game and all this bullshit. Like, both teams played like crap, man. Like, that's if both teams are firing, you're going to lose because you don't have the firepower to stick up with us. You got the 2 guys, but other than that, you don't have shit. So I think if the Leafs can, get the win against Calgary tomorrow, I think that'll be the tough one, and then they go in, get some wins. 4 out of 6 would be good, but I think you got to come out with 4 out of 6, right? You got to make a statement on this division. You're going to get those days off. You're going to get some time to rest, time to practice, right? Practice time in this season is going to be like gold because you're not going to get any of it. They're playing like every other night. There's no time to practice. So getting these couple days off is going to be nice. They can get some practices in. I think that's going to be big. So you got to get these points and make a statement going into those days off where people know that you're a team to be reckoned with. And then come out of that break even more improved. Like, you're going to be rusty. You're taking a couple days off, which at this point you're not used to. Shake that off in the first period when you come back and show them how you've improved and why we're the best team in this division. So keep your eyes on that. And I'll be checking in with you guys a bit later. So follow us on Instagram at BleedBluePodcast and on Twitter at BleedBluePod_. And yeah, have a good week and go Leafs go.